Welcome to Wellspring on the Air, where Christian counselors share practical and biblical insights for daily life. Why? Because hearts and minds matter. I'm Rebecca Barrios, and I serve as the Community Relations Manager at Wellspring Counseling and the host for today's podcast that we've entitled Adjust and Communicate Your Expectations. With me today to talk about this topic is Lindsay Steffen.
Yes,
thanks for joining us.
Of course. Happy to be here.
Yeah, Lindsay is a licensed mental health counselor and our
clinical manager. Yes. They changed the name a couple times, so it's okay.
But we're so excited to jump into this topic. Again, this is actually our second part of our 5-part series that we've entitled Going on Vacation, Remember to Pack Your Therapist. It's all about, people anticipating their family vacations, family reunions, lots of dynamics, having high expectations, and sometimes we come back disappointed or upset that it just didn't go the way that we wanted it to. And so our hope is to kind of jump in and help and say how we can participate. You don't have to buy your therapist a trip to Fiji with you, but you can. You can. I mean, I'm sure your therapist would love that too if you offer them that.
That's not ethical. I can't accept it, but thank you.
But you can remember to have them in your back pocket through telehealth. They are available to you before to prepare for vacation, during vacation if you need a quick check-in call, or even after just to kind of debrief all the family happenings.
Decompress.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to jump into today's topic. Again, adjusting and communicating your expectations. Yeah. So I know that I have experienced a couple unhappy family vacations. I've gone into some vacations with some super high hopes of how it's all going to play out and stuff, and then I come back deflated.
Right.
And so what are maybe some thoughts that you have around navigating that or kind of avoiding that? What are the steps?
Yeah. So a big one I start with in therapy with clients is expectations. So we need to have expectations that are realistic and that actually match what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of the time, maybe we grew up in a family where vacations were stressful, or there could be conflict, or there's always these two people who fight, whatever it is. It's on the spectrum from kind of bad to really bad, but we have to have expectations that this present trip will probably be like the past. You're right. It's going to be like the year before, the year before, the year before. So whatever happened there, planning ahead for it, because we want to romanticize and say, oh, I'm going to have such a great trip with my brother, with my mom, with my stepdad, with my cousin. But if you guys get together and there's always conflict, why would we think that? I tell clients, look for the evidence. What evidence is there? The evidence is that it's probably going to be stressful. So we have to adjust our expectations, and plan for what will be.
Yeah. Not hope for something different.
Sure.
Yeah, we can always hope for something different, but be realistic.
Yes. And people can change. So maybe conflict was a part of the family 5 years ago, but people have healed in whatever way.
Everybody else is in their own therapy.
Right. Amazing. Go, everyone, the whole family. So and maybe it is different, but that means last vacation was great, and now you can expect this one to be great too. So again, it's kind of going based on the evidence you have in front of you from the past.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, if it hasn't changed before, what's going to make it change this time? Have things changed since the last time?
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think we were talking about even before, like being okay with it not being okay.
Yeah.
And that's a big one, again, you think it's going to go this way, and you set your plans, and I think it's good to have plans, but are we flexible to adjust and change and have flow and kind of going in with that mindset? This is what I want. This is what I hope. This is what I think. Right. But it's okay if it doesn't happen like that.
That's great, because isn't that real life? That's like every day.
Yeah,
so why is a vacation exempt from setbacks or hiccups? So someone may lose their luggage. The airline loses the luggage. We crack the windshield of the rental car, whatever.
I mean, like it's happened to you before.
I know, that's one I've experienced. So things happen. I have to say, a coconut dropped on the windshield and cracked it. So what do you do with that? It's a natural disaster, but we were liable.
That's a bummer.
So weird things happen, you get to the hostel, the hotel, the Airbnb, and it's really gross. It's not what you thought. I've had that too. The fridge was disgusting. You leave a bad review, but You've rented it for 3 days. What are you going to do? So kind of rolling with the punches, essentially. Like bad things will happen, or maybe inconvenient things or difficult things, but not freaking out because our expectation wasn't perfection, right? It's like, okay, we lost the luggage, huge bummer. Am I going to talk about it for 5 days, or am I going to go and buy a couple outfits and enjoy?
Yeah,
you know?
That's true. Yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think one of the other things that we talked about too is accepting what's true. Maybe we kind of already touched on that, but
that's good though.
Including the stressful situations that just happened.
Yeah.
And included, you know, when those situations happen, you don't know what other people's reactions are going to be. You know, for me, I'm like, hey, this is part of the adventure.
Right.
For others, it's like, this just ruined my entire family vacation, and they're having a pity party the entire time. And so how to set yourself up for managing that even. You know?
And that makes it negative for everyone else. If you're harping on, again, your lost luggage or this didn't go right, it's like you're a negative little rain cloud, like Eeyore, and no one wants that. Like, we're here, we've planned, spent time and money, we're all together as a family, which might be rare if people live far. So let's make the best of it. And really that's a way to live in general, like with gratitude, like we talked about in podcast 1. If we have gratitude, we can say, hey, this didn't go right, but I'm grateful I have money to go and buy a couple outfits. So I have stuff to wear, or a swimsuit or whatever for the rest of the trip. So with that, what you said, not, you know, being okay with not being okay, accepting what's true. In therapy, we call that radical acceptance. So it's truly accepting what is the reality with no denial, no like, what is that called when you're trying to bargain, kind of like, oh, well, maybe it's not really this way. It's like,
it's not just that bad.
Right. Just accept it. It is what it is. And you can go forward. I tell clients, you've probably overcome harder things than this before. That's how I know you can overcome this, right?
Yeah. Past resilience.
Exactly.
To future resilience.
You're basically a therapist. Look at that resilience. Talking about it. You've learned a lot. I love it.
That's great. Yeah, it makes sense. So setting your expectations, but if I'm being honest, that kind of feels a lot like on me. You know, I have to set my expectations. I have to know that if it doesn't go right, then I have to be okay or whatever. You know, like what's in my control. But and I would say, I think easier said than done too. So is there anything else that you would say could help in that realm to not just feeling like it's all on me, to just be happy about whatever happens, you know, even if everybody else is having a pity party, I gotta set my expectations correct. What would you say around that?
Yeah, that's great, Rebecca. I think that we do know that only we can only control ourselves. That's the truth. We can't control people or change them. But one way we do pull them in for some accountability is just communicating. So we communicate, hey, these are my expectations. These are my choices. This is my desire, my needs. So, you know, kind of setting the stage for, hey, I'm really looking forward to this together time. And, you know, I would love if we could, you know, have dinner together every night, or it would be amazing if we could go to the hot springs together as a family, like sharing your opinions and what you would like, and just communicating that. So then people, even beforehand, I say, if you're going on vacation and you really want to do something or have a tradition together, call and let people know, or send it in the group chat or a text just saying, hey, I'd love if on Wednesday there's this show playing at the theater, you know, put a thumbs up if you want to go and I'll buy tickets. So, you know, you can be proactive in planning activities, expectations, and all you can do is the best you can do. You throw it all out there, you share your desires, they may be respected or not, but then that's where you can kind of set boundaries and say, okay, you know, only 2 of us are going. All right, but we're going to go because I want to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Again, easier said than done.
Always. It's also easy to talk about, but that's why we go to therapy and learn actually week to week, how do I carry out this beautiful little
plan of expectations? But it is a good point. And even communicating before family vacations, the expectation, this is what I would like to do. I want to invite people along to go do that. You know, and not feeling disappointed when somebody says, no, I don't want to, or I'm going to do something different.
Exactly.
Actually.
I think with that too, you can communicate your schedule, the choices, like I said, that you want to make. So I tell a lot of clients, you need a little alone time. That's who you are. You're an introvert. You need to recharge. So get a pass. And I said in episode 1, get a gym pass, something you enjoy, stress relief. Go for a run, go for a walk, go read outside alone with a book, and just kind of have that time and let the family know, hey, I'm going to be doing this. Not can I, is it okay, but I'm going to be doing this, because your adult self can make that space for you and do what you need to do for yourself to stay balanced throughout that family time.
Yeah.
So it's good to communicate that. Communicate if you have to work, hey, Friday morning, 9 to 11, I'm going to be in a meeting. Yeah. I had to do that on my last vacation, because that's when we have meetings, Friday 9 to 11. So just saying, hey, I'm going to need it quiet, or is there a space I could be alone, and I don't need anyone coming in or whatever. So I think that, and also just that time coming and going. Hey, I'm going to come for 2 days. I know everyone else will be there 4 days, but I'm going to set aside these 2 days to go, because that's your max time to be with the family together. So just kind of stating what the expectation everyone can have of you.
That's true. Yeah. And that's so hard too, because where I battle is that what is everybody else going to think of me? Maybe they're going to think that I don't love them as much if I only want to spend 2 days with them versus 4 days, or they think that I'm not as involved or don't want to be as involved. And so it's that hard balance of like, but this is what I need and this is what's healthy for me in this moment, but this is also loving towards my family, because I'm being my healthiest version of myself with my family. Because if I stretch out those 4 days, they're not going to want to be around me, or it's not going to end up well, So
I love that point, because isn't it true? If you can have me at my best for 2 days, do you really want me then at my worst for 2 days? And that kind of spoils the ending, and that's what people remember a lot of the time. So doing that. And I think people will adjust in time. People don't like boundaries often.
They don't.
But if you start doing it, they'll be used to, oh yeah, she only comes 2 days when we're all together. And maybe they're kind of salty about it. But again, they know.
You got me for 2 days though.
Right, exactly. And people do have even work things or other reasons. The dog, I can't be away so long. And so you don't always have to say, hey, you guys make me crazy, so I can't be with you for more than 2 days. But you can like gently share, hey, what works for me is 2 days. I have a lot going on. And, it doesn't need to be this very explicit thing all the time. When we set a boundary, we can just softly do what we need to for ourselves and try to help everyone feel as good about it as possible. But if they don't, we can't control that again.
Yeah. In a loving way towards them and a loving way towards ourselves.
Right.
As well.
Which ties in for us as Christians at Wellspring, do everything out of love, and kind of, we want to be compassionate. We want to be Christ-like and like Jesus, because I think, he had his boundaries, right? He would go away and be alone, and he turned the tables over when he was mad about something. Don't do that on your vacation, but but he set boundaries. He had opinions. He had, his boundaries in the world. And so I think we're allowed to have that as well. We're allowed to get away, have a quiet moment. We don't need to feel guilty. I hear that from clients a lot. I feel guilty. What you were just talking to, or people make you feel guilty. Oh, but it's never enough.
You don't love me.
Right. What did I do wrong as a mom? Whatever.
Why don't you want to spend time with me?
Right. And you don't want to say, oh, well, I'm in therapy because of you or whatever. It's not always the case, but sometimes it is. And so we do want just to, kind of set the boundaries, be kind and compassionate, be forgiving, but also forgiving and forgetting. As a therapist, I'll say that's not my opinion. I think you forgive, but you don't forget someone who continually hurts you. You learn from it and have wisdom in how to interact with them if you've decided not to cut them out of your life.
Yeah, discernment and having choice in how you navigate relationship with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. Man, so good. Thank you so much, Lindsay. I appreciate all your insights and nuggets around setting expectations, communicating them as well.
Of course. And one more plug for Take Your Therapist With You. So schedule with us ahead of time. Hey, I'm going to check in with you Wednesday at 10 a.m. or early, 8 a.m. when everyone's sleeping, or late at night, whatever you need, or go to your car. A lot of my clients see me from their car. Go outside, whatever. And you can check in if you have kind of a crisis and you need to reach out for a quick phone call. Or even, like you said, when you get back, let's make sure we meet on Monday. I get back Sunday and let's like
a debrief.
Yeah, decompress and just get it all out. So
yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you to you for joining us too for this podcast on adjusting and communicating your expectations around family vacations. This is our second podcast of a 5-part series that we've entitled Going on Family Vacation, Remember to Pack Your Therapist. Hey there, thank you so much for tuning in to Wellspring on the Air. We hope that you got something valuable out of today's episode. One of our goals at Wellspring is to make mental health resources and content accessible to everyone. We bring mental health experts and voices from our own staff and community to share insights and experiences. We want to keep these conversations going and reach as many people as possible, whether they're into therapy or not, and we cannot do it alone. If you believe in what we're doing and want to see more content like this, please consider supporting us. A donation to our education fund helps us create more episodes, more content, more resources to reach more people. Thank you for your support. Check out the link in our description box to donate and remember to subscribe to our channel.